I'm still I'm still trying to process what I just watched, if that makes sense. Um, Matter of fact, just to make sure I don't screw up anything, I'm about to look up the name and the synopsis of this movie real quick because all right, so the movie is called Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? Now, if you look at the reviews, you're seeing 9 out of 10 on IMDb, 9.5 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's giving this like a 9 out of 10, create like stuff basically, right? Um, Mind you, I heard about it recently. I didn't even watch any of the trailers. First off, let's just get that out of the way. I didn't watch any trailers going in. I purely had no idea on what this movie was going to be about. So matter of fact, I'm gonna read this to y'all, so y'all get a short like 2 sentence of what it says, what it's about. When an interdimensional rupture unravels reality, an unlikely hero must channel her newfound powers to fight bizarre and bewildering dangers from the multiverse as the fate of the world hangs in the balance. It's like a multiverse sci-fi story, but it's not like a big IP either. Like it's not part of DC, it's not part of Marvel or anything like that. It's like it's a true original story. And okay, so I'm still processing what I saw. It's 2.5 hours long. Let's just knock some things out of the way, okay? I didn't watch anything, so I went in here completely blind. The only reason why I even went to go see this in the first place was I was hearing a lot of buzz on Twitter about it. Um, and that's it. I like movies. So if I hear good buzz about a movie and it's in the theaters, I'm gonna watch it. Why not? You know. So I went to go watch it. When I tell you I have no idea what I got myself into, I had no idea. But let me tell you something. This movie is it's very interesting. It's a very interesting story in a very creative way, I'll say. So start off in a very jump, okay? So as I read that synopsis to y'all, that's basically the premise, right? It's a multiversal sci-fi about this woman who has these newfound powers. Now the woman is a mother, right, who has this child. It's simply about a mother who who gets these powers. I'll not explain how, but she gets these powers, and in a way, these powers are used to help tell the story, which is a really personal story that she's currently dealing with in her life. And it takes her on this not just a journey of her character arc in terms of um it doesn't take her on a character arc in terms of really it takes her on this character arc where it's not just internal, like she you know how stories start off, they start off the character starts off believing this one thing, and in the movie they believe in this other thing, right? It's usually how the traditional arc goes. This movie dived into a lot of elements that's not regularly seen in movies, whether it's the big ones like Marvel and DC or like the small indie movies. This was pretty much her arc isn't necessarily like this grand her arc in this story, the mother's arc in this story isn't something that you've never seen before. Like once you get through all the special effects, the multiverse, the powers and stuff like that, really the story is about how she can become a better mother. That's really what the story is. It's really like how, and this is not spoiler because but it's really as a mother just trying to figure out how she can do better. But it's told in such a creative detour way of handling things. Like it's not straight and narrow. It's not straight and narrow. Um, the story starts off grounded, but then it just takes you on this adventure, uh, using her newfound powers as a way of narratively telling her story. If that doesn't make sense to you, trust me, I still am trying to wrap my brain around how to best explain it, but that's how I am explaining it to you the best I can right now. Um, Everyone did a phenomenal job. Every character in this movie is important in some shape or form, whether they're major, supporting, or even a one-time appearance. They all have something vital to the overarching story that the mother is going through. And the way it's told is, you can see this project has a lot of love and passion. To be honest with you, um, The best thing I could say is there's multiple things I like to say. One, I know it's only what, April 2022. I'm not usually like I'm fond of movies, obviously, but I'm also can be a harsh critic when it comes to movies. Um, because when you see, because anything, when you're in a subject matter a lot, you see good things, whether it's anime, movies, video games, whatever. You just movies that are like all right or okay. They don't gravitate towards you so much because you've seen something either better or just executed better. It's just that's just any of our hobbies, any of our interests, right? You've always anything that's just okay, it's like okay, right? So I hope I'm making sense in all this. I'm still trying to find the best way to explain all this, but the long story short of it is what I'm trying to say is that it's April 2022. I need this movie on 4K Blu-ray ASAP. Um, I think this film is so phenomenal that I don't know what other movies are coming out this year that's gonna like probably top this in terms of the scope and the story that's being told, right? And that's I'm even throwing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and the other indie movie that's coming out. Jordan Peele's Nope movie. I have no idea how that's gonna be, but I can tell you right now, this movie right here is a contender for three categories at the Oscars: Best Picture, Best Screenplay, meaning like pretty much really fantastic writing, and Best Special Effects. I'm telling you right now, the special effects in this movie are not terrible whatsoever, and it's only on a small budget. Matter of fact, hold on, let me look up how much. What's the budget for this? This is only a budget of $25 million. $25 million. When you go watch this movie, in my mind, I was like, this can't be a low budget. I know how this production company A24. They're well known for like the small horror movies and stuff like that. Like if you've seen like Hereditary, Midsummer, I believe is also being my A24. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But they're known for their low budget horror movies. This isn't necessarily a horror movie, but it's also when you watch it in production, you're like, there's no way this is like 25 million, but it is 25 million of a budget. That's amazing. The way they the way they take these special effects and put you in this type of visual settings, and you're just watching everything unfold. It's like they found a way to do the visual effects to also tell the story itself as well. Now there are some moments where you might think to yourself, "Oh, the CGI is bad in this," or "This shot looks so obviously fake." I could argue with you. I could argue that that was a purposeful, like, not bad CGI, but like it was purposely made to not look realistic because of what it was trying to show at that moment in time, basically. Um, yeah, honestly, the plot was great. I haven't got to the characters yet. The mother was great. The whole cast was good. When you realize who the antagonist of the story is, you're it's even though it takes you on this multiversal journey, it found a good way to keep the characters grounded in the story it wants to tell. It just goes on a more creative adventure to tell you the arc. That's a very normal arc to have with this type of family, but it's done in such a creative way. I can't imagine this not being nominated for Oscars. If it's not nominated for Oscars, I will riot. To be honest with you, it's such a good movie. Um, all the characters did well. I won't go too detailed of the characters so you don't get spoiled. Characters are great. Plot was beautiful. Special effects were just A1 excellent, and the way they were effectively used to not just make it look like a spectacle, but also used in a way to also tell the story. And surprisingly, I did not realize how much humor was in this movie. And there's some humor where it's like I truly don't know if the director and the writer wrote these in a humor way, but it just comes off funny. Like my theater was laughing at a lot of stuff that shouldn't. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or not, but it was just funny because of the way of how the sequence was going, and it wasn't even like jokes. It was just stuff that was happening on the screen, and you couldn't help but laugh. But that's because their world building is what makes this universe funny. because the things that they establish in this universe, you just have to sit back and think this is ridiculous. The more you watch this movie throughout, like the first 15 minutes, nice. Everything else, everything past 15 minutes, super like splendidly well done. And the world building that they do is such a creative way to construct your narrative. They just can't help but sit back and just be in awe. This is from someone's mind. And they put this on paper, and a director found a way to put this on the screen with a cinematographer. Anyway, I don't want to come off like I'm rambling. All I'm trying to simply say to you guys is the plot was magnificent. It kept me engaged throughout. I could not take my eyes off the screen. The writing was great. It felt it almost felt disjointed, but at the same time, it was well crafted at the same time to illustrate your point. Characters, everyone has their own different personalities. Like everyone off the paper feels like their own person. Truly do. Um, and I actually do want to download the soundtrack from this movie. This movie actually has a fire soundtrack. I might want to actually like listen to. But the last thing I want to say, of course, is this is a. I have to give my negatives. All right, I'm gonna keep this really short. My negatives for this film is simple. They could have trimmed. Didn't have to be a 2.5 hour movie. This could have been a good 2 hour movie. There's some sequences in the later acts of this movie where you could trim some of these. I know why they did it. I know why they did it. They did it because they really wanted to slowly unravel these plot threads that they established early on. And they kind of, it's not that they're hitting you on the head with it, but they really want to make sure you understand why these are happening, right, in the later parts of the story. They're effective, but I feel like you also could have trimmed it. But then at the same time, though, the things that are established early on in the movie almost make it feel like, yeah, it could have been trimmed, but I'm not gonna dock it any points for it either because the way they unraveled it was just so creatively well done. This is a indie film that I think even the masses should see. It's R rated, unfortunately, so that means there's gonna be blood and some violence that's not gonna be suited for kids, but it's definitely a movie that I think adults will have a good time, college kids will have a good time with. You will walk out of that movie thinking to yourself, "What in the world did I just watch?" Without a doubt. If you tell me you walk out that movie and you feel like you perfectly understood everything, you're lying to yourself. Because I would this is a movie I gotta rewatch again. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna rewatch it again, probably like two more times, getting on DVD as soon as possible when it eventually announces. Please go see it. It's in theaters right now. Go support these artists, these directors, these actors. They did a phenomenal job. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Um, yeah, check it out. Check it out when you get the chance. And I think that's all I gotta say. Honestly, in terms of where I rank it, simple. I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray as soon as possible. That should tell you already how I feel about the movie. Easily Blu-ray time. Um, and that's it. Honestly, I have nothing else to say. Hopefully, you go see it. Like, let me know in the comment section if you already saw it. Let me know below what your thoughts were. And then yeah, and that'll be it.